Hey, everybody, I'm Sean.
And I'm Steph.
And you're watching Rampant Live with our very special, unbelievable guest, Adam Bedford. How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm fantastic, man. It's always great to see you. You're an amazing human being.
Thank you. I'm loving the set. It's like you guys are like the captains of the Rampant Starship or something like that.
If Rampant had a starship, I would absolutely love that. Except
Stephanie's the captain, though, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So they have that virtual Star Trek thing. They have a game master, though, which I hate because the very first thing I would do is pull shields down and put all power to phasers or to missiles or whatever, torpedoes. So I would just die.
Yeah. Leave the fire button in Stephanie's hands.
No.
That's a good
I
idea.
Taped down, man, just flying around shooting stuff. So thank you for being on the show, man.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I've been watching it, and I'm so happy to be and honored to be the first Facebook Live guest. So we're breaking new ground together.
We are. Someone said that our audio is a little low, so I'm pumping it up. Thanks, Steve, for the heads up. You never know. We do have levels here, but we never know.
See, if my arms do funny things, I'm used to doing radio when no one can see me, and it's like, oh, well, I just caught myself. Like, what am I doing that for? It's like, you're an idiot.
That's awesome. So yeah, thanks for being on the show. You're the very first Rampant Live guest on Facebook Live. We've been doing Blab forever, as you've known. You've been on the session many times, and it's just not quite what it needs to be, you know.
No, I think they have a long way to go before it's ready for prime time.
Well, and Facebook just announced that this summer they're going to introduce a calling room, a waiting room, and multiple callers. So I think that's the death of Blab right there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a Facebook talk show. It's like talk back Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Talk back.
That's a mouthful.
So
Try saying that. Try saying that after a few beers.
Talk back Facebook. Talk back Facebook.
Speaking of which, yeah. Sorry.
Oh yes, because Adam insisted. Here we go.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Facebook Live. Woo.
There you go.
Woo.
Nice little meal replacement you've got there. Some Guinness.
Had to do it. We actually got it for our Irish guest who was supposed to be on last week, but that's when Blab completely crapped the bed. So, you know.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm all yours.
All right. So, for anyone out there who doesn't know who Adam Bedford is, which is shocking, but he is an amazing editor, a wonderful human being, and the executive producer or an executive producer of Going Postal. Is that correct?
More or less, yeah. Okay. Pretty much, yeah.
So if you don't know what the Going Postal show is, it's amazing. It's probably one of my top 2 favorite podcasts.
Yes.
So and you guys have always been kind to us when we were absolutely nobody. We're just slightly above nobody, but when we were absolutely nobody, you guys were the first people to come talk to us. So and that was awesome. We've always loved you guys.
No, we love doing it. We love hanging with you guys. Like in Vegas, we had so much fun this year. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
And that's going to happen from this time forward because we're not going to lock ourselves into a booth anymore. So we can go ahead with the Going Postal crew at 3 o'clock in the morning and do things that you shouldn't be doing. I love that.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised you can remember it, but that's a whole thing. But
I'm Irish, man. It doesn't even phase me.
There you go.
So let's get into talking about you. Real quick, for people who don't know you, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do for a living?
In a nutshell, I turn shit into sugar.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm an editor. I work in TV and film, digital now, some interactive. I like to try and keep it varied, but most of my work has been in television, on doc series, reality, and then I'm now sort of transitioning into more narrative and scripted, which I'm really excited about.
So do you like that better than reality?
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you want to work on things that will stand the test of time. And like, if you're putting all of your heart and soul into something that someone could watch 5, 10, 15 years down the track on Netflix, as opposed to something that will be watched once, if that, and discarded forever. But at the same time, reality has its merits because you're learning to craft a story from nothing. So you don't have a script to rely on. If you're lucky, you've got maybe a beat sheet. So it's a great tool for editors to learn because you pretty much have to figure out the story as you go.
Right. And so and you're quite often not even working with an assistant in some reality shows, right? You're actually handed a lump of garbage and said, make this into an episode, and you've got 4 days or whatever, right?
It's happened. And in fact, the thing I'm on, the project I'm on now, which is not a show, but it's more of a trailer, a pilot presentation kind of thing. That's been the case. But on most TV shows, because just the amount of footage that's there, you've got to have someone wrangling it and looking after it. And like I've worked on shows with like 8, 9, 10 editors, and if you don't have someone looking after the footage and maintaining the avids, things are going to go caca pretty quickly.
So do you have any supervised work when you're editing? Do you have someone come in and start, making judgments over your shoulder? Have you ever had someone like snap at you and like for a cut point, like they're like, no, cut right there? Have you ever had someone?
Yeah, they do, but they lose their fingers pretty quickly.
Exactly.
No, I have clients in the room all the time, and that's cool. At the end of the day, they're paying for it,
right?
And you have to be professional about it. And it's arrogant to think that like nobody else has a good idea. So if you have exhausted all of your ideas and you want to learn something new, then having that extra pair of eyes and ears in the room, it helps. Like there are personality issues, and it's actually never happened with me. Thank God, touch wood. But yeah, I know I've heard stories about people throwing clients out of the room and whatnot. They don't end up working again, but
yeah, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's like I get on well with pretty much everyone. So
yeah, you're like one of the nicest guys on the planet. I can't imagine getting into an argument with you. I don't want to.
Yeah,
because I have seen you beat people down online, so I don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot to piss me off.
Nice.
I'm pretty laid back.
So, would your
Sorry.
Stephanie's still getting used to the controls, and she's trying to talk to me while I'm talking to you. So, bear with us as we figure out a way to communicate without her stopping the conversation. Going,
Stephanie, you know what you have to do? Attach some electrodes to Sean.
Nice. Any idea where, Adam? Any
I'll leave that to her imagination.
Okay.
And just with a little button, it's like.
That's awesome. So how do you
food for thought?
How do you like working in LA? I mean, I'm assuming you've done work in Australia as well, yes?
Yeah, I started in Australia. And in fact, I started not in film and TV. I started in radio.
Oh, nice.
I was a radio announcer and DJ at age 15. So right as I was in high school, and then sort of moved up from there, and then got to the point where I didn't want. Well, I knew this wasn't going to be what I was going to do forever. So I went to film school there and started crossing over, and then moved to London, worked 3 years in London, and then came here to the States. So I'm slowly making my way back around the world.
Nice.
That's nice.
So do you prefer LA to all the other markets, or would you consider moving to a slower market?
Well, now that I have kids, like that thought's crossed. It's crossed our mind, but at the same time, you spend so long building a network here, and contacts, and well, let's face it, this is Hollywood. So it's either going to be here or New. If you want to work on the big projects, it's either got to be here or New York. And I love New York, but I would not want to live there.
It's funny. I love LA, but I wouldn't want to live back there either. I'd prefer New York, but I get it. I understand. There's so much work in LA. You can really spit and hit somebody who's working on some kind of a project. So
yeah, when I first got here, I used to be so frustrated about LA with the traffic and the constant sunlight. I know people love the sunlight, but after a while, you just wish for a cloudy day here and there just to balance it out.
Because I can't. Terrible for you. Terrible.
I know. It's such a first world problem, right? But I can deal with that. Anyway, and when you're editors, you don't get to go outside very much anyway. You're lucky if you get a window.
Right. And you don't really want a window in your edit bay necessarily.
No. So anyway, so when I got here, the traffic would frustrate me, everything would frustrate me. But now I've kind of adopted a Zen approach to things because I can't change it. It's just there.
Right.
So I just make sure I've got something to listen to or deal with on the radio. Like Howard Stern's been it's kept me sane on the freeways of LA.
That's a shocking endorsement right there. I love that. So let's talk about Going Postal. For those people who don't know what that is, it's one of my all-time favorite podcasts. Like I said, I love you, I love Ben, I love Monica. Tell me how you all three met, because in reality, the three of you should probably never cross paths.
I know, right? I met Ben at NAB. And I met Monica here in LA, And we started off, well, actually, Monica wasn't in the show at the beginning. It started off with Ben and myself and Eric Harnden, another person who was with us. And the idea of the show came at Bob's, we were sitting at Bob's Big Boy, which is a famous LA restaurant down the road from where I am now. And so we thought, there's so many of these little podcast things that are just so tech-based and so dry. We wanted to add some fun back into it and some geekiness, because it's like, let's face it, if you met an editor that wasn't a little bit of a geek or a production person.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd come up with Going Postal. It's a bit of post, bit of production, and then we get to be all geeky and talk about like Star Wars and Doctor Who and cool stuff like that. So, and the other part of it is I don't have the patience to write a blog. So I thought, okay, I've done radio before. Let's do a podcast.
Well, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We've got our first question from the audience. Deb says hi, and people are saying to turn up my audio, so I have. But Philip Andrew Nichols says, what difference do you see in working in different countries?
Different attitudes towards work.
Okay.
Here in the US, it's I've noticed it's a very much a live to work kind of thing, where it's changing a little bit now, and we've had to fight a little bit for it, but the work-life balance is very tough here. In the UK, it's much more evenly keeled, and in Australia as well, it's more of a work to live. You do your job, and then you have your life.
Right.
But here, yeah, I've managed to carve out a bit of a work-life balance. It's hard, and depending on the job you're on, especially freelance, sometimes you don't always get to enjoy it. But yeah, I think that's the biggest difference. And also sense of humor as well.
So how do you do that? How would you tell people, how do you carve out time for yourself and your family?
Wherever I can, I try and negotiate it into my contracts, like negotiate my hours. There are days where things like deadlines or cuts have to go out. You have to be a little bit flexible, but I love to try and start early in the morning because I have two small kids. I'm up at the crack of dawn. Mm-hmm. So I am happy to start work early if I can finish a little earlier. So if I start early, I'm out at 6. So at least I can come back. I can help get them to bed. I can at least see them so they know I still exist. So that's the goal.
Have you noticed in LA, like when I was in LA, mind you, this is a long time ago, so the old guard was very much still intact, but if anybody in my team complained, the producer would just say, look, there's a team of kids on the street waiting to take your seat. And that was a common response, and I hated it. But I was in visual effects, though, so it was a little bit more of a grind. But have you seen stuff like that where you are as an editor? I doubt it. I think editors get treated a lot better than pretty much anybody else.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories on both ends, but I'd say it's changing now because I've noticed a lot of rates are a lot of people are trying to bring down the rates and bring in all these junior editors who work on these digital projects. And I think the digital work is the Wild West right now, where they'll try and bring in these kids to cut these YouTube shorts and pay them next to nothing. And then at the end of the day, they'll bring in someone with a little bit more experience like me or a bunch of other girls and guys to fix their mistakes. So, and I think you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of cleanup work for Disney at the 11th hour. I'll get a phone call frantic, and they'll send me the most abhorrent After Effects project file, and they'll be like, can you sort this out and get us to deadline? I'm like, yeah, but that's when my rate goes to full rate. It's like, you're paying whatever it is you're paying,
Yeah. I have this thing on my door where it's like good, cheap, and fast. And it's like you can only pick 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got another question here. Let me scroll down here because Facebook is scrolling by quickly. Deb says, do you have a methodology for planning your time at work and your podcasting and your home life? Yeah, because what Ben's like, 11 hours ahead of you guys or something crazy like that?
Yeah, when we do the show, and we're on kind of a summer break right now because Monica's busy on Preacher and Ben's doing his thing and I'm all over the place.
Love Preacher.
Yeah. Yeah, she's on her way home from Preacher now. She's going to log on and give me crap later. So.
Love that.
So because of the time difference, we have to record the show late at night for LA time, which is crack of dawn for Ben. So he's like, Monica and I are like at the end of the day and Ben's at the beginning. So we're both we're groggy, but kind of on that level there. So we add a drink to it and it works out just fine.
Yeah, see, I love that.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I need a hookup.
Oh, well, okay.
Sorry.
You need
You're gonna cheers.
I
need-
I can cheers an empty glass, but I think that's bad luck.
See, the Rampant budget can't afford like a bartender to come on set
We
and
can't
refill.
afford a TD to do switching. Well, we can afford a bartender. I mean, come on.
What about little robot bartender?
Oh, yeah. Except the problem with the robot bartender is they don't take care of you, man. It's the same drink every time, you know.
Yeah, but you don't have to tip. You don't have to tip them either.
That's true.
So
You don't have to
That's
tip
true.
them, but you know what? I'm a big tipper, man. I tip like 50 to 100%. There's just something wrong with me. My dad hates me for that. So cheers. Now that I have something.
Cheers now.
all right.
Cheers.
Yeah, so we do Going Postal late at night. So it usually means the kids are down and asleep by then. So I've taken care of that and any sort of work I didn't finish during the day because the projects I'm working on at the moment I'm lucky enough to do in my home studio, which is great. When I'm on a show, it doesn't always happen that way. I've got to go all over town. So it's great because I can sort of adjust my hours a bit so I can stop working. Excuse me. So I can stop working earlier in the day and then come back, and if I've got a couple of hours, I'll finish it at night or whatever. So
That's cool. Monica's in the house, by the way, and she said, I heard that. So I'm assuming she's talking about something you have said. So
you heard what, Monica? That you were going to give me crap. You told me that earlier. This is not news to you.
Monica give people crap? Never. Never once. So you guys are doing the Going Postal show, and then you do the Going Postal show live at NAB. And I know from experience, we stayed up past the ignorant hour, and then just a few hours later, we saw you on the show floor. How do you do? I mean, if I did that, there'd just be no recording. I'd be holding something, but nothing would get recorded.
I'm sorry, I missed half of that. You dropped out.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, you.
Oh.
It's
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, it's better.
Wow.
Try again.
Gotta love Skype, man. I can't wait till we can get rid of the Skype component here. What I was saying was when we were at NAB together, we were staying up past an ignorant hour, really. And then the next day I see you on the show floor interviewing people. How are you coherent? Because I would have absolutely just not had anything recording. I would just put a recorder into someone's face and just let them talk and be like, that was great. See you never, you know?
I think the hardest one was with you guys because
It was a late
it's like you No, you're easiest to talk to, but it's like, it brought back everything what we would the night before. But I don't know. I started doing breakfast radio, so I was used to getting up at 4 a.m. and doing it. So it's I don't know. It's like getting on a bike.
Nice. Drinking too much and then recording interviews. I like that. So tell us about your project. Yeah, I get it.
Do you know what country I come from, right? Just
Yes.
checking.
Yes, I want to live there, but you've convinced Stephanie off the air that we will never go there. So thank you.
Never.
Oh, that's right. Because Stephanie thinks everything about Australia is trying to kill you, and
It
it's
is.
not everything.
Oh no, I just learned tonight I was worried about flying spiders before. Now I learned that there's a whole new spider that hides under your toilet seat.
The
So
toilet
now
spider.
I don't
Like-
need to go.
I have never. Okay, you're worried about the flying spiders. I have
Yes.
never seen a flying spider in my life in Australia. Redbacks, they're fairly common. Yeah, sometimes they don't always do it, but they have been known to hide under toilet seats. In fact, somebody wrote a song about it. There is a song called There's a redback on the toilet seat. Look it up.
Your tarantulas are so large you could ride them to work, man. So, getting
We don't
her over there is
We actually don't have tarantulas.
whatever they are, the giant spiders, man. They're bigger than my car. I've seen videos. I've seen it. And you got giant
They are
sharks. And,
large.
I'm surprised Sharknado isn't shot in your country.
No, they're going to spend that kind of money.
Right. Instead, they do it in Orlando at Universal. I'm like, what?
Right.
What? We're like 100 miles away from the nearest beach, but yeah, that's cool. All right, so moving on. Do you prefer staff or freelance gigs? We've asked a lot of people this, and it's surprising what their answers have been.
Pretty much. I haven't actually worked a staff gig since I've been in LA.
Oh, really?
All my work has been contract because all the editors here, unless you work for like a commercial house or a VFX house or something, everything is contract or freelance.
Right.
Because nobody wants to pay benefits, but that's a whole different thing. But with the union, you get that. So, but no, I love the flexibility of freelance. There are downsides to it, like when you're between projects, like when you're trying to like save for things, like that can be frustrating. But you can work on 3 different shows in a year, and that's happened. And you can be on 3 completely different shows. And the best part is, if you don't like the people you're working with, you don't have to put up with them for very long.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
beauty of being an editor. The rest of it, as a visual effects artist, I worked at a commercial house, so I was working with the same crew day in and day out. And if there was a personality issue, you're done. It's just how it is. So I like that.
Yeah.
How much time off do you have between gigs typically, or are you trying to find work the very next day? Are you trying to line up work as you're wrapping up?
Yeah, I've for the most part, I try and do it. Usually with a day or two in between. There's always something going on. I think at most it's been maybe a couple of weeks. So I just line up all these projects I've been meaning to do, and I just take care of those in the off time. And you learn to enjoy the time you have off, because once you get back on the train, it's full speed ahead.
Is it hard if you're off for 3 weeks to get back into the grind, or is it just second nature for you at this point?
No, it takes about a day or two.
Day two?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So apparently we're burning up Monica's data, so we have to make this good. So let's step this up a notch, and I'll ask.
Actually, Monica says I do prefer gigs with Crafty. Yes,
yes.
Crafty is like craft services.
Right. Oh yeah, I should explain that to our audience. So
Yeah,
you
like food.
You like
food,
the free
food.
Yeah,
Free
you like the free.
Yeah, but well, production gets fed so much better than post does.
Oh come on! Of course they do. Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
Post. Yeah, I've been on gigs where you're lucky to get bread and peanut butter.
Well, when I worked at a big house, though, they had cookies every day at 3, and at noon you got a custom menu. They would cook you whatever you wanted. It was just an excuse to make sure you never left your seat. That's all.
Yeah, that's when you start to learn it. And like there are places that will give you will start dialing up pizza around 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock, and it's like, oh, come stay for pizza, and it's like, no, I want to go home.
Right.
Right.
I worked at a shop that had car washes and oil changes, so you just never had to leave. There was never an excuse to go. Your kid would have to be on fire for you to get out of work anytime early, And even then they want a photo.
And then you hear about all the tech companies up in Silicon Valley that have all of these amenities, so you never have to leave. But that's the thing, you never leave.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome that you have this cool sleep pod, but that means you don't want me to leave the building. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
So I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, Monica's home now, so we're not burning up her data, so we can dial down the awesome of the show. Okay, so Philip Nichols says, what kind of skills did you... Well, here we go. Facebook, man, you're jumping all over the place. Philip says, what kind of skills did you learn in radio that have helped in video? Oh, that's a good question.
Deadlines. Like, things have to go to air. So you learn about air dates and times to get things done as quickly as possible. What are you two doing there? Hands above the table, please.
Check. She's having fun with Switcher Studio. She thinks it's the coolest. She's playing virtual TD. You've got your Twitter handle going up and down like every 10 seconds. So sorry.
No, the biggest thing is they're working to deadlines. You just have to get things done at a certain time. And audio production. Like, I learned how to read waveforms at like 15 years of age. And it's like, and now it's like another language. And you can just see things and you edit audio. And it helps so much when you're cutting video and music and all of that. And in fact, one of my specialties is cutting to music. And I think having done that for so long, it has helped. So,
yeah, I've got a lot of complaints from people saying, I've got a 3-minute track, so the video has to be 3 minutes, and I'm just like, no, and no. Good Lord, no. So, yeah, being able to backtime music or edit to music is definitely a plus, and you don't see it very well. You see a lot of half-assed stuff go out, and I appreciate when I see a show where the music is timed perfectly, even if it's a reality show. It's like, the editor took time,
Yeah, and it's like if you can't hear the mistake, they've done their job.
Oh, and Monica says that she got sushi for lunch last week. That's because you're working on Preacher. It's like the coolest show on the planet right now. A&E is banking on it. It's got the most badass
if you haven't
vampire.
seen Preacher out there, you should check it out.
Yeah, you need to check this show. It's like the first 5 minutes of episode 1. I'm like, what the hell?
The airplane fight scene was unbelievable. I will tell you this though, even like 6 episodes in or 5 episodes in, you're still wondering.
We don't know
WTF,
what's going on.
It's like
Yeah,
you're
very
waiting for
strange.
things to start to fall into place. But I absolutely love the show. It's my favorite show right now, and I'm hoping there's more Cassidy.
Well, I love her boss is Seth Rogen. One of her bosses is Seth Rogen.
Come
So
on. How could you go wrong with Seth Rogen?
I know, but I'm saying like you can't breathe too deeply at the office.
Wow.
I'm saying nothing. Just
Good Lord have mercy. So Steve Kahn says, when I had my studios, my crew ate very well. Lots of clients ended up booking in the evening to get the good stuff, like steak. Well, that's smart. That's very smart. I think that's you want to keep your editors and your staff happy. At least serve them decent food.
Yep.
Are you taking resume, Steve?
I wonder if would Monica give you a good reference?
I hope so. I gotta wait as long as the check clears first.
Oh,
No.
yeah. Russ says he's going to work from Steve here on out. Yeah, man, you're busting out steak, man. That's the good stuff. That's the good life.
Yeah, right.
There.
Steak.
So what? Okay, so like you've been saying, the industry is changing. I mean, you've got Avid being super prevalent in Hollywood, but kind of disappearing everywhere else. You've got all these kids coming out of school. I mean, literally, there are quote unquote film schools that are pumping kids out every 30 days, and all over the world, and every single one of them wants to be an editor on that show. What is your advice to those kids who are just starting out in the industry today?
All right. For the kids coming out of the film schools, learn more than Final Cut 10.
Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
like Avid has its issues, Premiere has its issues, but Final Cut even has its issues. But they're good for different. It's the right tool for the right job, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess learn all three. Learn After Effects. Be like. In fact, when I first got to LA, having After Effects and graphics experience helped in between editing gigs because I could jump from one to the other. And doing graphics for one show helped me get on some projects as an editor. Just being able to go back and forth like that, it sort of makes you not indispensable, but it makes you more marketable.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you can track, if you can do some replacements or even temp visual effects, you're now a guru.
Yep.
Yeah.
And apparently Monica's doing all kinds of temp effects, and people are losing their minds over it. Every once in a while, I'll get a Facebook message like, "Look, I just used your something in a visual effect temp," and I'm like, "Dang, that's awesome."
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah. Okay, so we've been asking this, and we're talking about school now. So the big question is, do you feel that you need film school to be where you are today? Like, do you need to go to school to be an editor or anything?
I think a lot of kids come out of film school and they think because they know how to use the edit software that they're an editor, and that's not the case.
no.
It's like, okay, you can use a $299 software program or Premiere. Doesn't make you an editor. I think story. Got to learn how to tell a story.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not necessarily going to learn that in a film school, though. I mean, if you do, you're hold that program dearly, because I've not seen that. I mean, they probably have a class that says, well, we're teaching you how to cut a story, but in reality, I think that's on-the-job training and learning from a master craftsman.
Damn straight. In fact, when I did the film school thing back in Australia, the most useful thing I got out of it was the contacts and the network base.
Sure.
A lot of the things I'd learned in different places elsewhere, and it was good to sort of be with a like-minded group and hone those skills. But if you're doing film school, it's the contact base. A lot of film schools will try and promote that, but they really don't have much of a contact base.
Right.
So you kind of it's buyer beware, especially in LA. There's a lot.
Yeah, I know of a specific one. I'm not going to drop their name out, but I watched them hire people straight out of film school and then claim that they're knowledgeable experts. It's like, you've never stepped foot on a set, you don't have an IMDb page, you've never cut anything, but you're now teaching cinema. It's like, how's that possible?
Yeah, it's insane. But it's a case of, okay, well, you're cheap and you're replaceable. So
yeah, and that's, unless you're doing it for fun. In LA, I guess it's good. You've got a talent pool to pull from. But if you're going to a film school in, I don't know, Iowa or whatever, how are these people working in film necessarily? They might be, but odds are they're not. And you just gotta be careful what you're paying.
Yeah, the pie is a lot smaller, and there's more people wanting pieces of the same pie.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So what would
so go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
And that was the same with Australia as well. Like the industry is only so big,
Right.
And you're competing with super uber experienced people, and you're trying to get a foot in the door. It's hard. So you have to go to places like here in the UK, because the doors are a little more open. There's more opportunity. There's more production.
Yeah, more so now than ever. I mean, back in the day, it was really just Hollywood, and now it obviously due to all kinds of different things, it's opening up everywhere.
But that's production too. But most of the post still comes back to LA or New York.
Well, it's actually even more LA, because I have friends working in production in New York, and they're like, we ship everything to LA. I'm like, that doesn't make a lick of sense. You've got 1 billion post houses in town, but it's just the way they work it. It's just how they've structured it.
It's like the government's trying to fix that with a tax credit. I'm like, keep it the way it is. We're good. So
yeah. And Monica said that you don't have to go to film school, but it can be helpful. Yeah, I mean, learning the tools is great, and if you can afford to go to a decent film school that will get you the connections, agreed. But you're also coming out of the school, like, if you go to UCLA, you're probably going to be $50,000 to $75,000 in debt, if not more. So
yeah,
and at the current going rates of an entry level person in film, you're not going to pay that off anytime soon.
No, and you're working on day rates, so
Right.
like you can be up against somebody like you'd be going into a post PA role. And you can have all this film school experience behind you, and it really won't make a lick of sense because someone else will get the job. It's about relationships and networking and just being at the right place at the right time. It sounds crazy, but that's just the way this town works. And it took me a long time to learn that. And I'm still learning that now.
They also said be careful who you insult, though, too, because like at Disney Animation, they said be careful if you insult your intern, they could become the director on that next project. And that's happened many, many times where, you're a total douche to your intern, and it's like, oh, there's no place for you on my film. I'm sorry. It just worked out that way,
Yeah.
You just got to be... I would say being humble is probably a big deal.
Like, I don't kiss ass.
Right.
But I'm not going to go out of my way to be mean to someone. So
Right.
It's like, what did our mothers tell us? It's like, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
Right.
Yeah. So you be professional. You get in there, you get the job done, and you go home.
Philip asks, do you think it's good for the new graduates to take on those digitals or hold out for something less transient?
I think anything you can get your hands on and cut is good. You learn what to do, what not to do. Having those digitals online too, you get instant feedback.
Right.
So you put something online, it's oh, this sucks, or it's oh, this is fantastic. So it gives you the urge to keep going. So I think anything you can get your hands on and cut, whether it be digital, YouTube, whatever, it all goes to your reel and it shows to your skill and your credits, and can't be bad unless it's some horrible like B movie thing or porn. Like, you don't want to put that on your resume.
No, that's funny. My very first job interview in LA, they took me. I went to this building. It was like the 14th floor. I'm like, cool. And they needed an After Effects artist, but they said with some editing skills. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I got that. I sit down and I'm hearing all these weird sounds in the background. And he's like, we need you to cut out director's cues in porn. I'm like, what does that do with After Effects, man? And I'm hearing like these really terrible sounds, panting and groaning in the background. I'm trying to pretend like I don't notice while this dude's looking at me straight face, looking at my resume, going, this looks very good. And you're, I'm like, what? What is happening here? I thought I was being punked. And no, they wanted us to take director's cues out of porn and then do cleanup with After Effects. I'm like, yeah, as much as I love After Effects, I am not doing that work. No way, no out, no ever.
It's like, what do they want you to clean up?
Yeah. I'll just say it this way, acne. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay. Because I'm glad it went there, because that could have gone a few places.
Oh, he was quite descriptive of what he wanted. He was pointing at things. I'm like, yeah, you know what, dude? I'm gonna go jump off the roof. See ya.
Yeah, it's like, you get a kid out of film school, they'll do that.
That's what I was. I was a kid fresh out of film school. It was my very first job interview. I'm like, I'm not sure LA's the place for me. Things got better after that, but yeah, that was my very first job interview. I'll never forget it. Have you had any embarrassing interview? Have you ever had an embarrassing gig or an interview?
An embarrassing gig, not so much. Not in film. I do remember in radio something stupid I did once. A couple of things. I read a commercial wrong. Instead of saying capsicum, which is what green peppers are, I said cannabis. And that got the phone calls rolling.
Sales went through the roof, folks.
Yeah. And then one time we faked a whole outside broadcast from Bondi Beach with sound effects. And that's where audio editing comes into play. We just, as a goof, we faked an entire 3-hour live outside broadcast. Our announcer was on we reverbed it. We put the sound effects and everything. We had music playing. It sounded like that he was coming live from Bondi Beach, and he wasn't. In fact, we had people calling up trying to find him, and it was hilarious.
That's awesome. That is fantastic.
As for job interviews, not really. Like, I haven't really, like, being freelance, you don't really get a formal sort of, you meet and you sort of talk about the project a bit and you feel each other out.
Right.
It's not really like, so what did you do here? It's luckily, I haven't been subjected to that since I've been in LA. So,
do you have any qualifications for jobs? Do you turn any jobs down, or do you take everything?
Yeah, usually if it's porn, I turn it down.
Okay, if it's porn.
No, I try and be open. If it's a project I know is going to make me miserable, whether the schedule's insane, or I know I have something else on and like dates are going to conflict, or it's like Honey Boo Boo or a show like that I kind of I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I made a show like that. Yeah, but I try not to because at the end of the day it's work. But when you have, sometimes it's good because you get 3 and 4 projects you get to choose from at one time.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So do you, Philip Nichols asks you, what does your workflow look like? I'm assuming it's very different between the kind of project that you work on, but what's your typical workflow like?
Well, if I'm on a show that usually the workflow is dictated and I kind of have to fit into their workflow. But if it's my own project, these days I tend to lean more towards Premiere. Or Premiere, as the Americans say it.
I like the way you say it. We're so crass, man.
Sounds so
you
nice
add some honey.
Premiere, darling.
Premiere.
Premiere.
I love that.
I love it.
I sound like I'm from the former UK.
Oh, too soon, Adam. The wounds are still fresh. I'm going to say this. I honestly believe this. If you wear glasses and you have an accent, you're going to make 30% more than anybody else than your American counterpart in LA. I've seen it time and time again. I had a friend who was a flame operator, and he's like, should I composite this for you? And everyone's like, oh, I love this guy. Book him, book him, book him.
I love the way you just did that.
Oh, man, I've seen it all, my friend. Just because I work in the private sector now does not mean I didn't go through it, my friend.
Actually, your English accent's pretty good. A lot of Americans think I'm English.
Well, okay, but that's because we're stupid. That's just it. Everything that's not us is you guys. There's only 2 countries. It's us and the UK.
It's because I'm Australian and I don't sound like, "G'day, mate, how's it going?" like that.
You really should do that and see what happens.
Yeah, I get a sore throat after about 5 minutes.
Back to reality. Graham Cohen wants to know why Premiere.
Why Premiere? It's
Premiere.
So, yeah, why Premiere? For me, it's the projects I've been working on. I think it's the best with file-based media and graphics. Because most of the projects I've been doing lately will be a lot of After Effects work, and I like going back and forth, and I love using Audition for audio cleanup. I was using Audition before Adobe even took it over, when it was Cool Edit Pro. That's the cheesy name it had, like years and years ago. Cool Edit Pro.
Love that.
Yeah.
The Windows
and
editor?
then Adobe. Yeah. I love having that flexibility. It's easy with Photoshop, After Effects. Avid has its uses when I'm using when I'm on a project with multiple editors and story producers. You can't really beat Avid for that because everybody can look at the same thing at the same time. And then Final Cut 10 has its uses. If I want to turn something out quick and dirty, well, not quick and clean, actually, not quick and dirty. That's the kind of thing I would go for.
Yeah. Final Cut is stupid fast.
Yeah, it's like right tool for the right job.
Right.
Yep.
I'm sick of hearing everyone complain about, oh, my NLE is better than yours. Do you hear gardeners complain about or fight over the kind of like rake they use?
Yeah, see, I want to be in a room full of carpenters who are like, screw off. My hammer's way better than yours. I want to see that happen in any other industry. Like surgeons are like, oh, use that scalpel? You're a hack. Whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
I want to hear that because it's obnoxious how much. It's 2016. We're still fighting over what's better. Who cares? Tell the damn story and move on.
Yeah, well, don't worry about the hammer. Just build the house.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's usually the ones who are building crappy houses that are the loudest about their hammers. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, they're usually compensating for something else, though. But we won't go there.
Your NLE sucks. Don't look at my reel.
What did you use? Windows Movie Maker?
It's truly the best. I paid $29.95 for it. It's great. Seriously, I haven't heard of half these editing softwares until we opened up Rampant. It's like, do you use blah blah Pro X13? I'm like, what? No.
X13. It sounds like
we get all these random. I don't want to dog on one specific because then I'm going to get an email. You singled out my editing software. You're so mean. I'm not being mean. I'm just saying I had only been aware of like 3 or 4 editing apps until we opened Rampant. Now apparently there's like 500.
There's a lot.
I love this. Philip mentioned that he's heard it with tape measures once.
Really?
Oh.
Wow. My tape measure's far more accurate than yours. Wait.
Yeah,
what?
whip it out and let's go. Yeah, there you go.
Mine's longer and metallic. Great.
How many inches does it take before it starts to flop? No.
That's funny. That's a direct quote from my doctor's appointment yesterday. Sony Vegas. Yeah, don't get me started on Sony Vegas, man. Sony Vegas is the bane of my existence. They sort of read ProRes, but only certain flavors, and they won't come out and say which ones. So every time I do something in ProRes but not the right flavor, my email box fills up with, you don't support Vegas.
Did you hear Sony's put Vegas and SoundForge up for sale? They're getting out of the NLE business.
Yeah, they say that, but they also just released an email to Vegas users saying that something big is on the way. Unless that's what they mean. It's like the Titanic. They're jumping ship. You know.
There was something big. What, they're about to get a third Vegas user? What?
We'd like to invite all three of you to a meeting. No, that's me. No, you know what, Adam? You're going to get me killed, man.
No. I said it, not you. So it's okay.
Oh, man. Yes, I know Vegas started as a great audio tool, and then they crappily added video to it, and everyone's defending it. I get it. That's fine. I've never worked at a single professional gig in Vegas. Sorry, guys. It's always been Avid, Final Cut, or Premiere. Back in the day, Final Cut Studio, but, way back in the day, it was always Avid, maybe Media 100, but...
and it used to be because, I've got a PC, so I have to use Vegas. No, not really.
Not really.
You don't. No.
And
You can use...
why won't you use Avid?
You can use Avid, Premiere.
My only beef with Avid is, man, blend modes, man. 2016, give me just 3. Add, screen, and multiply. I'll be a good boy after that. That's all I want.
Okay, well, I'll mention that
Please.
to my contacts at Avid.
I refuse to believe they've never heard that before. Like, what? Blend modes? What are these things? I find that really hard to believe.
Well, they're going through a big change at the moment, and they're trying to get all lean and mean and get sorted out. So maybe that's on the horizon.
And they abandoned ISIS. That was a good strategy to get rid of that term.
Not the best term.
Right.
I'm Googling you guys, and I'm seeing some really strange results.
It's funny. They had a billboard at one point. Avid had a billboard. I think it was down in Hollywood somewhere. I heard about this, so I haven't seen it, but it said "Buy ISIS."
Oh.
Yeah,
It's
not
like,
the best.
Let's fire your ad agency, folks. Wow.
Not the best.
So getting outside of this, because like you were talking about, I mean, you're a family man. You guys travel and you do vacations, and getting outside of the industry, it's important to talk about the industry, but it's also important to talk about other things. What do you do for a hobby other than harass Monica online or on the radio?
Actually, she harasses me more than I harass her. So
I wonder if she would agree with that.
yeah. Oh, she's not arguing with the blend modes in Avid.
Well, okay, see, I have to hire someone like you or Monica to do a tutorial to explain that you don't necessarily need them, but then after the 45 steps it takes, you've got all these people with, X's over their eyes going, I just can't hang. So, just seriously, a blend mode. I get it. You don't want to put blend modes in because they probably don't, get listed in your EDLs, and Avid's by far used for film and TV, but come on, man. There's got to be a happy solution.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Or you could just buy what, Sapphire?
Sorry, I'm just reading these comments.
What's bullshit, Monica? It's going to be a 45-second delay till she responds.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
Like, you're better off. Yeah. Where were we, guys? Sorry.
What do you do for?
Yeah, what do you do outside of this for fun?
The industry?
Not as much as I want to. I'm learning how to code. I'm trying to teach myself how to code and make iOS apps.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what app I'm going to make yet, but my goal is to be able to find a revenue source that I can do from anywhere. When I'm not editing. I can be on the beach and code or something like that. That's my goal.
That's awesome.
They're making coding a lot easier too. You can learn coding in a game now, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, SpeedRazor. I remember that, Paul. For a while, SpeedRazor was really growing some teeth, and then it just poof.
Yeah, SpeedRazor was used a lot back just before I left Australia. A lot of guys were using it for music videos.
Yeah, and it crashed like a mofo.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's the NLE Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Do you remember Media 100 back in the day?
Yes, and when I was at school, we learned a little bit on Media 100, and then we went to Final Cut 3 or something, 2 or 3. sort of just
Yeah.
that was fun because you get to make mistakes. Like usually they give you like old dailies. I say rushes because that's what we call them, but rushes of like old 50s TV shows like Gunsmoke and whatnot, which was fine. I got bored one day in my class. I turned like a whole scene from Gunsmoke, a fight scene, into a John Woo film, and like my teacher was just like. So when I did that, I thought, okay, this is something I want to do.
I'll have your job, please. Thank you. That's awesome. See, well,
That's
that means right there verifies that you're on the right path, man. When it's something you're passionate about, it's something that comes easy to you, and it's just something you enjoy, then life is good.
Well, I watch a lot of TV and I watch movies, and I think that's the secret. You've got to love what you do, and you have to watch everything, even the bad stuff, because you have to learn what not to do.
Yeah, I feel for you on the bad stuff, man. There's a whole lot of bad stuff that I really don't want to subject myself to. But oh yeah, Paul, the toaster. Yeah, of course, man. I'm sorry, I forgot about the toaster. Yeah, I use that as well. The cow wipes, the Kiki wipes. Back in the day.
It's funny you mentioned the toaster. I was watching old reruns of, remember Sequest DSV?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I had that going on Netflix a while back. Didn't you
Yes.
work on that?
No, I'm not that old, man. Come on.
Okay.
I'm the next generation. Those guys who work there, those are my mentors. I'm one generation behind those guys.
But they did all the sub shots on the video toaster, right?
Yeah. And that's why they don't hold up today on Netflix. So
No, they really don't.
there's very few films out there that hold up today. I think Indiana Jones 3 holds up. I think the original Jurassic Park holds up. But there's very, very few. Even the original Independence Day on most shots still hold up. But that's mostly practical stuff. So
Yeah, they made a 50s film in the 90s. That's what I love. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Like a 50s disaster film. I haven't seen the new one yet. Have you guys seen it?
man,
No.
if I'm not in this chair, I'm in the one right there working on stuff. The boss lady doesn't let me do it. If I'm sleeping, she hits me. If I'm sitting around, she's like, "What are you doing? Are you lost? Your computer's that way."
Yeah, see, wait till the electrodes come.
Don't give her any ideas. She'll want wireless ones though.
But yeah, so hobbies, going back to that, sorry, I tend to ramble on. I try to watch TV, movies. I absolutely adored this season of Game of Thrones. It was so good.
Very good. Very, very good.
I am. Do I admit this or no?
Sean doesn't really like Game of Thrones.
Let's not say it that way.
He doesn't like
That's
the gore
Look,
in
here's
Game of Thrones.
here's the thing: when you're in visual effects, shots come on your desk, you don't get to pick what you do, right? And I was fairly high up. I was paid very well. I worked with a lot of big time directors, but when a shot appears on your desk, you do what you're hired to do. And back then there was a lot of music videos and a lot of horror, and they were all blood and gore, and that stuff just has not left my brain. I mean, there was one shot on a horror movie. I was working on it 6-7 months straight, and it just embeds in your skull. So Game of Thrones is beautifully shot, amazing show, some of the best visual effects I've ever seen, but it's just so much gore that it brings me back flashbacks. I have like PTSD from it. So I just can't. I just have worked on so much gore. I mean, it's just like I'm just
that's
over
totally
it.
understandable. Just skip past that.
But and then it becomes the talking show. It's like,
There's other stuff in there too.
Yeah, there is other stuff, especially there's a lot of brother and sister stuff, which
Yeah, that's a bit weird. But, yeah.
That was the very first thing I sat down. I'm like, "What's this show?" And then stuff's like, "I'm like, oh, what's going on?" Well, that's her brother. I'm like, "Oh, why?"
That wasn't this season. That was
No, that was a while ago.
The
That
very
was a while
first
ago,
season.
but yeah.
That was it was a slow burn for me. It took me like a year to watch the first season.
Me too.
Yeah, Monica says I'm a big baby. She's like Stephanie. She could probably eat dinner on a corpse, and that's fine. I'm just built a different way. I just don't like gore. Sorry. I worked on it for so many years. 20 years of working on horror films. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's only so much.
And it's not really horror. It's now torture porn. I mean, horror back in the day was genuinely scary. Now it's just gross, So,
Yeah.
So
I was about a year or two ago. I cut it was an homage to the old '80s teen slashers. Mm-hmm. So they had the gore, but it was classily done.
Mm-hmm.
And I was cutting it at home one night, and there's one scene she was screaming, and like the blood was going in, and all my wife could hear is like ah, and it's like, what the freaking hell are you doing in here? Said, paying the bills, honey, paying the bills.
Here comes Monica teasing. Yeah, you know what? You try staring at Hostel, certain scenes in Hostel for several months on end, and tell me it won't seep in you. But you know what? It's not all torture. Here we go.
I agree, Monica. It's not all torture porn.
No, if it's not torture porn, it's garbage. All these movies you make me watch, I'm just like, there was no story there. This is like the worst movie ever made. And you're like, oh, they made 4 more.
I like scary movies. I think they're fun to watch, and I like being scared. And
I'm not a fan either. It's like I can do limited gore. And at the end of the day, like Monica made us watch. I know we mentioned her a lot tonight because she made us watch Annabelle to review for Going Postal last year.
that's a good one.
Oh, if you say so. But
Yeah, see, here's the thing. There is
Do your
no
kids have
Adam
dolls?
without Monica though. y'all are a custom package,
Yes.
and there's Ben in there as well. So
oh yeah, if I try and play the middle ground mostly, and it's like if Monica loves it, 9 times out of 10, Ben's gonna fucking hate it.
I can see that after actually spending time with them. I can see that.
So we send him
All
to
about
Marvel
the
film.
subtext. Oh, come on. You're giving too much legitimacy to this garbage genre. I can't wait. Monica, you know what? I don't know if you told Steph no, but somehow you're not on the schedule. You need to get up on the show, and we need to have Adam come in here and give you some hard times. But yeah, I would love to
that'll
debate
happen.
that. I think she told Stephanie no. She's like, oh, I'm
No,
too
she
big for
didn't.
Rampant or
She
something
said,
like that.
I just have to get the times
I hate those
right.
Rampant fools. I don't remember the
Because you're
email.
in California time, so there's a lot. She
You
said
know what,
she's
Monica?
driving home.
I'll do this show at 3:00 in the morning if it means you'll get on the show. I don't know why everyone keeps telling us. Ben is like in Timbuktu, and we have to like do car bombs at some ridiculous hour. I'll do it. I don't care.
Oh,
I think we're
what we
doing
should
it
do,
3.
we'll do a combined Rampant Live Going Postal episode.
Let's do it.
And we'll record it at this end for our show, and then you guys will do it live with you at the same time, and we'll find something to talk about and
love
turn it
it.
into a discussion.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Every genre has its sneakers. I'm not saying there aren't bad movies, Monica. That's crazy. Most of them are bad. But in horror, I just look. When I met Steph, the very first thing she's like, let's go to Blockbuster and get as many scary movies as we can get it. I was like, no, that's not.
Sorry,
fun.
what's Blockbuster?
Right.
Right.
Well, that's how long we've been together. So there you go. You don't remember Friday nights sifting through garbage because everything's checked out? It's like, Giant Spiders 9. That's got to be good, or whatever it is. I mean, you don't remember going to Blockbuster?
It's usually at the pub.
See, you're a man after my own heart, man. Come on. So tell you
Yeah.
what, Monica and Stephanie can go to the movies, and you and I will get sloshed. How about that?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Yes. Back to Adam now. So. Holding out for comps.
Go back to me now. Okay.
So
Before you move on, I do want to say, if anyone's watched the finale of Game of Thrones, the first 10, 15 minutes is like one beautifully well-crafted group of scenes with the music. In fact, I went and downloaded the soundtrack straight after the episode. It's like some of the best editing I've ever seen in an episode like that. It's just the way all of those events were crafted together. I don't want to spoil it in case anyone hasn't seen it, but the first 15 minutes of the finale of Game of Thrones, I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
do you think Brexit's going to screw up the production?
Nah.
No? Because
Money talks and bullshit walks.
You're absolutely right. You saw those scare posts about you're going to lose your Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, it's like I really don't care as long as I don't lose Doctor Who. I'm more worried about Doctor Who because it's BBC.
Right.
Yeah, see, Game of Thrones is owned by HBO, so they want to make money, and so Doctor Who's BBC, and they're under attack right now. So,
Love me some Who.
Love Game of Thrones.
All right. So what would you say to 21-year-old Adam right now, knowing what you know now? 21-year-old Adam, magically appears in your room and wants to get down into his career. What would you say to him?
oh geez, yeah, lose weight and value your hair while you have it.
I like how you're still sarcastic to yourself. I love that.
Yeah. That's about
all
it.
you tell yourself? Well, it's short and to the point.
Yeah, anything else would mess up the space-time continuum. So
Right. I
Right.
think the two of you would talk about that, and then a black hole would open, and you both disappear.
yeah, I don't want to risk a paradox.
No. So, what inspired you? You said you started in radio. What was the moment that you cut the Gunsmoke together? Was that when you got your aha moment? Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, or?
No, funnily enough, it was when I saw Independence Day. That's when the first Independence Day. Like, I know so many film people, Star Wars is their big moment, or it's Independence Day and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Nice. Okay.
Those were the seminal ones for me. For radio, I was watching Howard Stern's movie, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, when I saw that, that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do, and then trying to make it happen now.
Right on. So, other than GOT or who? What is your favorite TV or movie right now? TV show or movie? What do you like really into at this moment?
Well, it's summer. There's bugger all on. If you asked me this week, it was Game of Thrones. But now that that's done, and they said there's only 2 more seasons left. Movie-wise, movies. The best movie I've seen this year would probably be Captain America: Civil War.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, considering how many pieces were moving around in that film, they did a good job putting that together.
Mm-hmm.
And another film I enjoyed, Eye in the Sky.
Really? Okay.
Helen Mirren, and it was, I think, Alan Rickman's last film. It's it's about drone warfare, and it's really, really well done.
Has there ever been a movie that the three of you all agree on?
There was actually, and it wasn't Grand Budapest Hotel because Monica and I hated the fuck out of that film. There was a film. What was it? Monica, what was the film we all agreed on?
So when you're doing Oscar voting, when you're like, nope.
There was it'll come to me. I can't remember right now. I'd have to go through the old episode.
Hey, while we're talking, if anybody has any questions for Adam, he's an amazing editor, wonderful human being, one of my favorite people on the planet. Hit us up. Let us know.
Yeah. I'm not backward and coming forward. Sorry about that. I apologize in advance.
It's all good.
Yeah, what was there was a movie, and it was surprisingly, we all loved it. Anyway.
It just seems to me like the three of you would never get on about anything, get along about anything. You got different opinions.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and that's kind of the way it goes. And we like to send Ben to all the Marvel and superhero films. And he's like, "What the fuck did you send me to now?" So.
And that guy, man, he works in one country, lives in another. He's constantly on a train or a plane. That dude is always moving.
Well, yeah, he was really worried about Brexit this week.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's. Yeah, I haven't talked to him since the Brexit vote went down. So hopefully he'll be able to work something out.
Well, if he's anything like Ben King, he's just on fire right now.
Yeah, well, understandably, there's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to get into the whole politics side of things, but it's a complete shitstorm over there.
So Graham Cohen says, "What's your favorite audio plugin?"
Audiobook. Yeah, I think that audiobooks are all I get right now because the one I just listened to, was an autobiography by Gary Marshall, who was the creator of Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and director of movies like Pretty Woman. Just the way he told his own story, it was just like listening to your grandpa, your uncle, and he led such an amazing life and worked with so many great people. And yeah, I recommend that. Plug in. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I thought you said audio book. I just read the comment. So anyway.
I'm not going to stop you. It's all good.
Audio plugin, Isotope.
Okay.
RX5. Yeah, the things you can do with that, amazing. That wasn't easy. Real. But yeah, if you want audiobook, check out Gary Marshall's one. Oops. Next time I'll read the bloody question. Oh, yeah. It was Mission Impossible. The last Mission Impossible film.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Bad. I liked it.
That was the one film in the amount of time we've been doing Going Postal that all of us liked.
That's cool.
It was good.
Interesting. It wasn't bad. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty
entertaining.
Good. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, for everyone who's texting me, I'm not checking my phone. I've got 900 texts. Just go ahead and leave a comment in the feed. I get it that somehow Adam's feed is louder than ours. We're working on it, but I seriously can't check my phone. It'd be rude to Adam.
Hang on. Let me adjust my level here then.
We all liked Pride.
How's that? Is that better?
Oh, it's great. Well, I mean, I expected your audio to be amazing. I mean, come on.
No, we didn't. We didn't like Pride, Monica. Did we? I thought that was boring as batshit. Anyway. So yeah, that's kind of. Uh-oh. They're about to hang up on me now.
Who's that?
No. The hand's hovering over the cutoff button.
Oh, no. Stephanie would never.
I'm trying to see the comments. Click. I'm trying to see the comments and I can't. I'm like looking over the iPad.
Is it not going?
This. No, it's not working.
Stupid Facebook Live. There's always something. First it was Blab, now it's Facebook Live. They'll get it worked out.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So So if you've got anything else you want to ask me?
Any suggestions on how to make audio better for video? Well, first of all, you've been on the air with us for an hour, so we really
Yeah, we
appreciate
really
your time.
appreciate your time.
But yeah,
Oh, wow, it's been an hour already.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, that's why we're hitting this lull, because we're like 60 minutes in. It's like the Mullins aren't this interesting. Adam is very interesting. Philip says, any suggestions on how to make audio better for videos?
It's all about the source. Make sure your source recording is the best you can possibly get. Get as close as you can with the mic. Try to eliminate background noise as much as you can. I know Isotope and Audition have great noise reduction now, but the idea is to try and reduce as much of the post time and effort as you need. So, yeah, I think the key thing is source recording. Use the best mic, placed in the best way. And yeah, if you have a good source recording, everything else is gravy.
Do you find that with these production schedules going crazy, do you find that production is a hindrance to you in some points with when it comes to audio and stuff, or do you find that because a common friend of ours was just saying they hired an LA crew and everything was incredibly sloppy, which was shocking to me because I'm used to getting nothing but like really detailed notes and really great audio, really everything. But they said they hired an LA crew and it was just garbage. So have you noticed that? Is there a decline, or for you, have you noticed it's always the same, or what? How does that work for you?
I think it depends on from project to project. And like I've worked on projects where the sound guy was missing in action, or it's like just, and your sound dailies are like, well, the camera audio is better than this. What's going on? I think camera footage is the one I've had the biggest issue with. Like I've worked on shows where you'll get two shots from two different cameras, and they're virtually the exact same angle. It's like, what am I supposed to cut to? It's like,
Right.
It's like, give me a wide, give me a close, give me something. Don't give me identical shots because you're making my life a living hell.
Are you doing much in 4K nowadays?
Everything I work on is shot in 4K, but it's like I end up editing in like maybe 2K or 10, outputting in 1080.
Oh, so you're not even finishing in 4K?
No. Not at the moment. In fact, the thing I'm working on right now was shot in 4K, and I dumped it down to 1080. I'm doing all the edit in 1080 because I can reframe shots.
Right.
I can basically get a second camera out of that, which has helped on a couple of scenes because we've need that extra angle, and I can go in an extra 50% and not lose anything. So it's great. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's almost a second camera. Philip asks, what's the worst nightmare of a project you've had to fix?
Hang on, this might take some thinking because there's a few. The worst nightmare actually for me was a file management thing. I was just given a bunch of random audio files, and this was back in the days before Pluralize. So you had to like go through and sync everything by hand. So, and there were supposed to be slates, but slates were missing. So I'm like, I had to go through and listen to like about 1,000 different sound files, and then write down because they would call the slates on the audio. You would hear the slate, the scene number, and the clap, or you would hear the scene number and not always the clap, and you would have to go and listen to the first bit of dialogue, and I'd have to like eyeball it by waveform. Which at that point, I'm like, thank God I had learned waveforms in radio, because it's like, had I just started this, I would have been like up shit creek without a paddle. Yeah, so that was probably the worst.
What's it like for you when you work on a situation where you're working with someone who's brand new? Are you the kind of person to take them under your wing? Are you the kind of person that kind of waits to see if they last 2 minutes? Or what kind of person are you when it comes to working with brand new talent?
I try and be as open and as accommodating as possible. And everyone's different. You have to figure out how to work with them. Some people like to just work in the room with the door closed. And sometimes I'm like that if I need to get stuff done. And you just it usually takes if you're on a new show, it usually takes a couple of days to a week to figure everybody out, figure out the power structure. Every place has a different power structure. Mm-hmm. And you just got to figure out how to slide into that. Because I'd say probably about 70% of the job is actually editing, and the rest is political.
Right.
Yeah, you just have to learn how the politics work. It sucks, but it's reality.
And you're also part therapist, and you play a lot of roles.
That's happened.
Yeah.
If you have a couch in your editing bay,
You're in
like,
trouble.
I try and find an editing bay without a couch because then
Right.
I don't get bothered. But yeah, I've had a couch and I've had everyone come and sit and tell me their problems, and it's you learn a lot.
Well, it's your accent, man. You're like a magical healer.
Yeah, something. I'm the post whisperer. There you go.
It'll be okay. That's So what is your advice to all these kids? I mean, you're on the same forums that we are. There's a lot of these kids, and I say that loosely. They're in their 20s, but to me, they're a kid. They're half my age. What is your advice to all these kids complaining about Avid? They just don't want to learn it, but they still demand to be working on the big projects. Obviously, the answer is it's not gonna happen. But
Not going to happen.
They still continue to gripe. You've seen it, you know?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's like it's not going to change anytime soon. They use Avid for a reason.
Yes.
Despite all of its issues, and we all know they have issues, but the things it does well, it does really well.
Yes.
And that's the workflow. And if you want to work and you want to work on these projects and you want to get paid, you got to go with the flow. You've got to learn all three.
Yeah, and it's really not. I mean, the way they work with collaborative systems is night and day. But have you done any collaborative work on Premiere or Final Cut?
Yeah, I've not so much on Final Cut, but I have on Premiere. It's a little better than it was. It's easier than it used to be. Whereas you'd have to share project files. Nowadays, you can just import sequences, so it's a lot better. It's still a bit messy. You kind of have to be a little disciplined in your file management.
Right.
And if you're managing your own project, it's easier. But yeah, it's possible. I haven't used an Adobe Anywhere system yet, so I'm itching to try that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see that in LA, but I know they're anxious to get people to use it.
Well, it's just such a big entry cost, but they've done a deal with Avid now to make it. You can use Avid hardware with Premiere now. So
that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
For Premiere.
Yeah, they've entered a partnership, like a frenemy kind of thing.
Interesting. That's cool. Philip says, what skills do you suggest as a starting point to help them transition?
Transition from.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm assuming from the other NLEs. I'm imagining is what he's suggesting.
Well, see, if you're coming from Final Cut, Premiere has the easiest learning curve.
Yeah.
Because the UI is fairly similar. You're not going to be too lost there. Coming from Avid probably takes the biggest learning curve if you're coming into it fresh. But having said that, when you can change your keyboard presets in Premiere to match your Avid. So because I've used so many, my Premiere shortcuts now are a hodgepodge of like Avid and Final Cut. That sort of works for me. But at the end of the day, you just learn the paradigm. At the end of the day, actually, it's in out. It's a 3-point edit. If you can make a 3-point edit in either software, you can figure out the rest.
That's true.
Yep.
So does anybody else have any other questions for Adam? I could talk to Adam all day, but this is you've got family to get to, man. So
yes, they're about to invade any minute. So
so unless anybody else has any other questions, it's been amazing to talk to you. Thank you for your time, Adam. We love you.
Thank you so much.
We talk about our escapades in Vegas fondly. So
yeah, I'll have to put the explicit warning after that.
So, okay, it doesn't look like there's any other questions. I think Monica dipped out. I think she was done. So
yeah, it's like, you're all done with me. That's good.
So it was great to see you, man. Thank you so much for being on the show. We love you. And if we're going to put in the recap, we're going to put links. So if you don't know anything about Going Postal, you absolutely need to subscribe. It's an amazing podcast. And I'm taking you up on that offer of doing some kind of a cross thing, man.
It's going to happen. We're coming out of our summer break soon, so we're prepping a whole bunch of shows, and yeah, you guys are on the list. So
Monica says I'm here. Okay, sorry, Monica. It said Facebook said you dropped. So I think this software is a little wonky still, but the Facebook fearless leader has said that it'll get more powerful in the summer. So, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
No, thank you guys. I loved it. Thank you so much.
And like I said, go ahead and follow Adam on Twitter if you don't follow him already. At Going Postal Adam. If you've seen his Twitter feed, it's very informative. It's a lot more fun than any of the rest of ours, except for maybe Monica's. She says you guys have a hiatus coming up, or she has a hiatus coming up. That's cool.
I gotta get her on the show.
Yeah. Well, I think she posted I've been on 11 different shows this year, and that's awesome. But yeah, take a break, come on the show. Would love to hear all about the things you can't talk about. But yes, Adam, we love and adore you, man. You're a hilarious guy. You've always been great to us, and we truly love you.
We
you're
do.
just a fantastic human
dude,
being.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, I just love how you guys don't pull any punches. We send you stuff, and you tell us what you think, and you've always been kind to us. We're nobody, so for you all to bring us on your show is really awesome. So.
Hold on. Will you stop saying you're nobody? Come on. You're not nobody.
There are 15
Stephanie-
people watching this show, Adam.
Stephanie, slap. Yeah, but you're not forgetting the recap. Stephanie, slap him upside the head.
She does it all the time. That's why she shaved my head, is because she messed up my hair. She hit me so
Yeah.
hard it came off. But yes,
I was so worried I'd have to do that haircut to come on tonight, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I don't know if it'd grow back.
I think you'd look good at it, man. So you've got the accent, then you've got the crazy hair. I think people would respect that. They'd be like, "Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Maybe we do 6 hours a day now."
Yeah, you just pull it out. Yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
No,
But
no.
next time you're in Florida, though, man, next time when you're less than 100 miles away, I better see you. You just give me a heads up, and I'll drive to see you. That was kind of a
All right.
bummer.
Okay.
Sorry, we're in Florida, but we can't talk to you, jerk.
Yeah, we want to come to Orlando, but we're going to let it's too soon. So,
It is now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we literally just got back up to speed. You're our first. Was he our first
Yeah,
Facebook Live
first
guest?
back,
yeah, you're
yeah.
our first Facebook Live guest.
all right.
Since so
Done.
right on. Well, thanks everybody
Thank
for
you so
watching.
much.
Thank you, Adam, for donating your time. Please, everybody,
Yes.
share and tell everybody about all this. We are going to post this. This will probably be up online pretty soon.
Yeah, it'll be up on rampantlive.com.
Yep.
You can find all of our past shows there and this show as well. And you can also find us on iTunes and Stitcher, depending on what you listen on. So you can listen in the car if you
If you're Monica
to,
driving home,
if
yes.
you choose that. So, yes, thank you very much, Adam. We love you. We are so happy to have you on, and we're so happy that you're our first Facebook Live guest.
Yeah,
which
man,
has been
thank you.
fun.
Yeah, we did it. I popped the
did.
Facebook.
Woo.
I
We
popped
made
the
it.
Facebook Live cherry. There you go.
See, you could have talked that way the whole time. I don't know why you waited to the end of the show. But yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks again. And thanks everybody for watching. And we'll catch you on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday at 9.
Thursday, 9
p.m.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. You rock.
Thanks, Adam. Bye.
Bye, guys. Take
Bye.
it easy.